Hi everyone, I'm Shirley.
And I'm Karma.
And welcome to another episode of Lessons of Karma. Looks like we're all still here. And you know what that means? It means our journey of self-discovery is not over. Are you curious to know what happens next? Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's keep it moving.
Baby, I'm moving on up. Hey, I'm moving on up to a higher destination. Hey,
In my previous episodes, I focused on the significance of perception. It's a topic I can talk about forever. See, I believe our perception forms the beginning stage of our perspective. And as we go through our lessons of karma, our perspective will continue to change and grow as a result of lessons learned. So my question for you is this. What is your karma telling you about your perspective? I believe we are constantly creating and recreating our human experience through trial and error. And as long as we are still here, karma will continue to help us to understand what creates a fulfilling experience in this lifetime. It's what our soul signed up for. It's why we're here. So if we're still here, it means we're not done. It means there's more. See, I believe our perspective has brought us to where we are at this very moment, which is a reflection of our karma. And if our karma is not serving our soul in a positive way, the only thing we can do is to change our perspective, which then changes our karma, which then changes our future perception on a similar situation. In other words, changing our perspective contributes to our evolution. For example, most of us, including myself, have triggers. Our triggers are based on our perception of certain situations. And until we take the time to go within and try to uncover the reasons why we choose to feel the way we do, we will be stuck in an endless loop of repeating lessons. And then it's over. See, I believe before we came into this lifetime, our soul signed a contract for a new experience with a new identity. The only thing we brought from our past life into this life were the lessons learned. Going forward, we get to decide if we're going to explore this new journey or remain comfortable with what we already know. Each lesson learned helps us to unfold another aspect of our journey. It helps us to unfold another aspect of ourselves. It's in our best interest to move past repeating lessons. Remember, we're only here for a limited time, so let's make every lesson count. I'd like to circle back to the question I asked earlier. What is our karma telling us about our perspective? Well, the only way to know is to ask ourselves some questions. And more importantly, take the time to listen to our answers. One of my favorite ways of doing this is to record myself explaining my thought process. When I take the time to examine myself from a third-person perspective, I'm always surprised at how easily I can detect my own BS. Here are just a few questions we may want to ask ourselves. What is our karma telling us about our perspective when it comes to security and stability? What is our karma telling us about our perspective on relationships and partnerships? What is our karma telling us about our perspective on success? What is our karma telling us about our perspective on balance? Here's another question. What is our karma telling us about our perspective on longevity? Do you believe you still have many more years to come? Or do you believe tomorrow is promised to no one? If you believe the latter, do you think you'll then have a tendency to live life more intentionally? For example, if we lived every day like it was our last day, what would happen today? Like, what choices would we make? What would we do?
Well, you probably won't pay your bills.
Then you'd spend all your money traveling and eating cake. Yes, that's what you would do.
Yeah. See, I believe our karma is meant to challenge our current mindset in certain areas of our life that would benefit from a change in perspective. In other words, I believe our karma is designed to help free us from recurring patterns that don't serve our highest good. But it's still up to us to notice the patterns. Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius said the following, and I quote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The Gregory Hayes translation renders this sentiment as follows, and I quote, "That things have no hold on the soul. They stand there unmoving outside it. Disturbance comes only from within, from our own perceptions. I can control my thoughts. What is outside my mind means nothing to it." End quote. In other words, we are responsible for our perspective. And if our karma is undesirable, then a change in our perspective can lead to a change in our karma, which then can lead to a change in our future perception of a similar situation. And that can cause the recurring patterns to break.
Okay.
Well, it's that time again. It's the Q&A segment where I answer some of your questions.
Okay, let's do this. Our first question comes from Lessons of Karma. That's you. The question reads, "Is this comment section working?" Now let's check the comments. There are no comments. And we're done.
If you prefer to send me an email, please feel free to do so. I'd love to know what you're thinking. Well, that's all the time I have for today. As always, everything I say is based on my perspective and personal experience. So take it for what it is. Take what resonates, if anything, and leave the rest. And most importantly, listen to your intuitive nudges. Your karma depends on it. I'll check in with all of you again soon.
Assuming you're still here.
I believe being human is a spiritual practice, and life is about striving to understand our spiritual journey in human form through lessons of karma.